What is a transaction coordinator, and do you need one? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, it's Rosemary Lewis, your educator agent with eXp Realty. And today I am going to break down the role of a transaction coordinator to help you decide if this is something that would or would not be beneficial for your real estate business. But before we get into it, y'all, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. That way, every time I post a video, you'll know all about it. And this video in particular, if you could go ahead and give me a thumbs up for it. And if there's something that you have a question about related to the video about transaction coordinators, go ahead and put it in the comments and I will be sure to respond back to you. There are so many roles within a real estate transaction that an agent plays. And I had to learn that there are some things that I absolutely must do and must be involved in, but then there are other things that will provide you with a little more leverage and flexibility, and you can totally hire someone to support you with that. And one of the roles that a lot of the real estate agents hire out for is that of a transaction coordinator. Now, what is a transaction coordinator? In short terms, a transaction coordinator is someone who helps you with all of the paperwork and is a great client concierge from contract to close. Now, I don't want you to confuse a transaction coordinator with your brokerage's transaction department, because your brokerage's transaction department, they are taking the paperwork that you upload or your coordinator uploads, and they're just checking to make sure that it's okay. But a transaction coordinator is actually going to be that person to take those administrative duties off of your plate, and they are going to do them for you. So what does that look like? I definitely have a transaction coordinator. It took me a little while to get one, and I'll just explain to you about that in a bit. But let me talk to you about some of the roles of my transaction coordinator. First of all, they introduce themselves to the client. They let them know who they are and that they will be supporting us throughout the transaction. And we really present like a team. Hey, I'm Rosemary, hey, I'm such and such on the Rosemary Lewis team, and I will be handling all of your paperwork. And I don't want them to, like my clients, to be alarmed. So in any consultation, listing consultation, or buyer's consultation, I let them know there. I have a picture of my transaction coordinator. Hey, just so you know, you'll be talking to me. But I give them kind of a heads up of everyone who is on my internal team that will support them, so that they are already prepared and know that someone's going to help. So from the moment that I go under contract, I send the contract to the transaction coordinator, and that's when they get started. And pretty much they monitor all of the dates and are responsible for helping, and keyword helping, because you are the agent. So it's ultimately your responsibility to make sure that things are on track. But they're going to help with all of the clerical things to get you from contract to close. So that is reaching out to the client with a congratulatory email, letting them know about next steps, letting them know about dates, uploading all the information, and pretty much being the liaison between yourself, the lender, the title company, the other agent, and so forth and so on. Why is this important? And I had to learn that this role is important because most transaction coordinators are contract-based, meaning that they will support you and they get paid at closing just like you do. And I was thinking to myself, like, okay, well, I don't need a transaction coordinator. Even though in hindsight, the amount of money wasn't much. When I was starting out, most transaction coordinators charge anywhere between $300 and $500 on a transaction. That seemed like a lot of money of the commission to give for some work that I could be doing myself. But here is what I learned, and this literally has been my experience. There have been numerous times where paperwork has to get in, and I'm at a school appointment with my kid, or another appointment with another client, or I have so many deals going on that sometimes I just have struggled, or it's been a challenge to keep up with all of those dates. Having a great transaction coordinator has just taken that additional pressure and anxiety away from me. So now, instead of, being the person who's filing and putting in papers and all that stuff, making sure signatures are done. I can actually do what is the best use of my time. And the best use of my time is working directly with clients, getting new appointments, and spending time with my family. So the investment of $300 to $500, guess what it's done on each transaction? It's giving me back my freedom, okay? I can hands down, like I am one of those people, and God bless you, even if you're somebody who loves all of the paperwork of it, I'm one of those people that the paperwork of things and just checking, dotting the I's and crossing the T's, that can become tedious for me. And that is not the type of work that brings me joy. However, I have a responsibility to make sure that it's done, right? If I'm representing these legal documents, I'm coaching clients, I'm getting them to the closing table, I have a responsibility to make sure that that's done. And for me, hiring a capable transaction coordination company has been a game changer. And as a matter of fact, this is a true story. The year that I hired a transaction coordinator, I know that my business, so when I look at my numbers, my business doubled, okay? It doubled from one year to the next. And I'm not gonna say everything was due to the transaction coordinator, but I definitely know that because I had someone supporting, calling title, following up with lenders, it gave me the freedom to take on more clients. It gave me the freedom to go on more appointments because I was not in the day-to-day mud of that part of the business. So I'm gonna encourage you, even from the very beginning, go ahead and look into a transaction coordinator. Now, there are tons of companies that you can research. My very first piece of advice, I can almost guarantee that most top producers in your brokerage, in your area, are using a transaction coordinator. That's a great place to start, to say, hey, who are you using? Who is helping you? What does that look like? I would love the referral. Okay, and here is my last piece of advice. If you are considering hiring a transaction coordinator or a transaction coordination company, y'all remember that they are an extension of you. To your client, you're one and the same. So if they are rude, if they are dropping the ball, you can't just say, oh my gosh, I can't believe that company did that, right? Because they put their trust in you and you're putting your trust in this vendor to support your business. So make sure that you fully vet them, that you get reviews, that you understand how they do work and they understand how you work so that it will be cohesive and you can work together. And then understand their temperament. You don't want to hire a company who is, super short with, very transactional, super short, super matter of fact, if that's not how you run your business. So just make sure that you do your due diligence. You just don't take somebody's suggestion, because I'll tell you, like, my transaction coordinator works well because she knows how I work, but she may not work well for somebody else, and vice versa, okay? So make sure you do your due diligence and that you are checking out all the things. If you made it to the end of this video and you're not subscribed to my channel, what are you doing with your life? Go ahead and subscribe. And look, drop fire in the chat. I got that from a girl on Peloton. Seriously, in the chat, type it out. Are you using a transaction coordinator? Do you see the value? Or are you like Rosemary? You don't want to pay the $300. So you're just gonna drive yourself crazy doing all the work yourself. But while we're talking about it, y'all, you want to make sure that you come back here next week, because I am going to share with you some side hustles that you can be doing in real estate, and transaction coordination is one of them, but I have 4 more. So come back next week, tag your real estate bestie, and I will see you soon. Bye, y'all.